fellas kneeling down for the three. It was three fellas kneel right down to help me look for my...
Good evening, everyone. Sorry for our tardiness. Welcome to Tales of Myth and Mayhem and our little game of Fallout. It never fucking changed. Yeah, and I'm saying it wrong. Our little game called Fallout. It never fucking changes. How is everyone doing this evening? How are you all, players?
We're good.
Yeah, good, thank you.
Wonderful. Are we ready to go? Are we ready to start leaving Quincy?
Yes.
Not yet.
After looting, of course.
Oh, there's probably going to be a shopping list of things you want to do, but let's get to it. So, last week, after some heightened negotiation, debate, and a rudimentary form of local politics, the survivors of the Wastelanders who were trying to make a home in Quincy decided to leave. And our players variously had different ideas on what should happen next. And currently, Augusta is sat in the bedroom of a local man called Benny, using his radio, talking to her colleague, mentor, Zebedee, back in Edinburgh. And the conversation has basically been Augusta explaining as best she could the situation without revealing specifics over the radio, just in case. And we'll come to after that attempt and start right there. So Zebedee, after listening to you, takes everything in and says, wow. Fucking wow.
It's never straightforward, is it?
I don't... Oh, I guess I'll go and explain all of this to old Tolman, but let me get this straight before I do. Vault was a bust. You want us to take in 30 people who need help. And you're going to go maybe make a deal with the fucking fake people, or hunt down a mad robot.
One of those, yeah.
Or hope some bitch who helped create your home comes up with an answer.
I'm not staking a big bet on that, but we have to try every option.
Well, listen, kid. I trust you. The way I see it. You left here, what, like 10 days ago with one lead? Now you got like 3? That's progress. Well done.
Are things okay back in Edinburgh?
Yeah, you know, things are ticking along. There was a lot of nervousness at first about using anything, just in case it broke and I couldn't fix it, but that seems to have calmed down now. One of the coolers at the bar broke down, but I managed to jimmy that up, so I think that gave people some confidence. But yeah, I'm nervously monitoring the well situation. That seems to be doing all right for now. But yeah, I wouldn't dilly-dally and wait for something to go wrong.
Yeah, that's what I expected. You're very able.
But, you know, fuck all that. How are you doing, kid? Are you okay?
It's been a lot, but, you know, what the wasteland's like, it never fucking changes.
Yeah, right, kid. It never fucking changes. Look, I'll go get old Tolman, and I'll explain everything as I can, and, you know, he's the best one to make these kind of decisions when it comes to taking in new people.
And he knows how it is.
He knows how everything is. It's fucking scary. I don't know. I get the impression that he's been alive longer than I think super mutants had existed, which is weird. But anyway, I'll go get him. One sec. So the radio cuts off. You wait for about 3 minutes, and then very familiar voice comes over the radio. Augusta, hello.
Tallman, hello.
Very glad to hear from you. I have been informed of everything by Zebedee, and you seem to have picked up a habit of rescuing people.
It's... I can't just leave them. Not like this. They'll die. They'll definitely die if we leave them here.
What do you think of their nature as people?
They seem like good people. They're argumentative. They're just people. They're not inherently good or bad.
Are we talking humans, ghouls, mutants?
Probably humans.
Okay.
And they've all been immunized for the black lung thing.
Sludge lung.
Sludge lung, yes.
Well, that's good. I mean, I've seen that before. It's not pretty.
Certainly is not. Anyway.
Okay, well, if you and the rest are all agreed on this, I don't see any reason not to. There is something that has come up though. There's Can you ask Jordan? Nope, sorry. Yeah, wrong person. Can you ask Roman to come back, and we need him to sort out something that's going on in security. Barry and Francis won't stop fighting. It's a whole thing. I know you probably need him. Maybe he can come back at some point and join you out there again. But yeah, we need him at home for now. There's some security concerns.
We can cope. We've made a friend who's very good with his bow and arrow.
Oh, bow and arrow. That's unusual. I don't think I've ever seen anyone use an actual bow and arrow that wasn't in some kind of pre-war vid.
Yeah, he's good. He knows what he's doing, and he's talented at tracking stuff. It seems. I don't know if he'd want to stay with us or stay long term. I think he's got his own stuff going on. But yeah, we have someone who is helping a lot.
All right. At the earliest convenience, if you radio back and somehow and send a location, and if the situation's resolved, Roman will join you again. He'll come and find you. But yeah, send Roman back, and if he gets Roman to lead these people, tell him to take them to emergency rendezvous point 2. He should know what that means.
I think I remember as well. I'll tell him. And then you can come find him so we don't have to tell them where Edinburgh is.
Yeah, that's the plan. Alright. I'll start making preparations and clearing out some buildings for them to make homes in. Try this radio again at the earliest chance you can to keep us updated. We're all rooting for you here.
We're going to try and take it with us. I don't know how much longer the town will be viable. Maybe we have to just avoid Quincy for a time.
Okay. Well, if anyone can jimmy something up in the waist to get in contact, it'll be you. But yeah, good luck. Look after yourself.
Thank you. Be well, Tolman.
So radio cuts off there. And yeah, you're just now in Benny's bedroom.
Well, that was tremendously useful. Thank you, Benny.
Benny, who has been listening at the door all the way through, just says through the door, I wasn't listening.
Of course you weren't. Come on in, though. You might as well.
He walks into the room and just says, okay, so we're good, yeah?
Yeah, we're good. But let's get everything that's important for you, including this radio, I hope, and we may have to make plans to leave tomorrow.
Alright, well, the radio, I don't know if that's how movable this is going to be because it's kind of attached to any signals. And you see that, on the inside of the fireplaces in the room, there's, metal on the sides. And he's been using the metal from the sides as an antenna. So once you disconnect...
We can disconnect it from the aerial and we can construct some other kind of antenna using stuff we can get in the wasteland. I'm quite confident. We can find bits of metal. It's not a problem. Or we can go up high.
Are you saying that you want to take this radio?
I'm saying that the radio is going somewhere, and there's ways of working with it.
All right,
If
because
we
I'd,
could
I'd
take it,
quite like
that'd
to
be
keep. I'd
marvelous.
quite like to keep my radio.
You keep your radio. It's your radio. We will find other ways.
I'm so glad you said that, because if you want to take the radio, I'd have no way of stopping you, because you're like some kind of superhuman.
I'm not at all.
He looks down at your pistol on your side and just says, like, yeah, like, thank you for not robbing me of my radio. So at that point, Roman walks in and just says, so what's the plan?
You have to go back with the folks from Quincy and meet them at meeting point 2, and Old Tallman is going to try and find a place in the town for all of them. But you'll have to help keep them safe on the way there.
Alright, if that's the plan, that's the plan.
And you're needed in the town, I believe. I didn't like to ask, but I mean, you know how it is.
Let me guess. Barry and Francis.
It could well be. Maybe she starts communicating in words other than grunts.
Alright. Well, listen, I'll start preparing people for the road. I'll get them there. And if you try and radio back to town at some point, tell us where you are, I'll come and find you again.
We'll keep in touch, definitely. But it looks like we won't be coming back to Quincy, and we may well, I guess, be heading north, but we haven't fully decided yet. I need to talk to everyone else too.
Alright, well, it's going to take about a week to get these people back. So in about a week, I'll check in with the Zebedee every day, see if I hear from you. If you give a location, I'll be there as fast as I can. At that point, he grunts and walks off.
Thanks,
This
Roman.
is his way. He just looks behind and says, anytime, kid. Anytime. So, you're kind of done at Benny, so I'm going to assume that you want to leave. You're going to walk out into the street. As you do, straight ahead of you, you see a door burst open, and James is thrown to the ground. And Scylla stands over him, holding her 10mm pistol at his head, and she is screaming, "How could you do that? How could you do that? This is all fucked because of you. What did you do? Why did you do this?" Those kinds of things. Behind her, General Isaacs walks out and is trying to say, "Look, don't shoot him. Like, we need him to tell the gunners that we're leaving."
Where's Freddie at this point?
Freddie and Carl are currently down the street in the back room of Caroline's.
Okay, because Freddie had things he wanted to say to James on stuff too, so okay.
Yeah. I'm taking people's things into account, don't you worry. I may introduce them in askew ways, but yes, I am addressing the things that you wanted to do. James sees you, Augusta, and says, he's got blood pouring out of his nose. He has been punched full on in the nose at some point in the last 10 minutes, you can see. And he just says, "Look, please, get her to stop. Just get her to stop. You need me to get back stupid Jim. You need me to get back Gut Guzzler."
Scylla, I know you've got issues with him, but beating him up right now is not going to help.
So he just says, "It's been really fucking helpful. I cannot explain how helpful it has been to punch this fuckhead in the face. He was so depressed for weeks and weeks, and I thought it was just because of all the things we'd seen. But instead it was guilt, wasn't it? It was guilt over what you'd done."
Punching him is not going to sort that, though. Not right now. We haven't got the capacity. We need him to go back and tell the gunners what is happening and return the guy we brought and the person that was up at the Red Rocket. We can't have them taking our people as prisoners and keeping them and we also need them to know that that the 10 will be available. It's very important, or this is all for nothing.
She lowers her pistol, but gives one last final kick to the face of James. And then she collapses on the ground. General Isaacs walks over and consoles Scylla for a bit and then just says, if I were you, Augusta, I'd take James right now and get him very far away from here right now.
Yeah, definitely. Scylla, I get how you're feeling. I really do. It's a lot when you've been... Yeah, I'll take him away. You've got this, General Isaacs, I think.
Alright, so you pick up James and you start walking away, and at that point, we are going to cut to Carl and Freddie. So,
No, you have to pack it on this side, Carl. If you overload him on one side, he'll just walk that way all the while, and it's like in a circle. You're muted. You're muted.
So should I just put this on the other side of the Brahmin then?
Yeah, because we already got 3 on this side. You have to balance it. And then we got a fat boy on each side with it. So, we're good.
Mini Nuke goes on the other side. Gotcha.
I've still been trying to figure out how we could mount a gun to the back of Tumu here, but I haven't talked with Augusta yet. I think she could do it.
just saying right now, because you actually seem to own a mini nuke, I've decided to give the party an action point, just because that was brilliant. So you now have 4 action points. That will never happen again. You can't play the prop thing again to get extra action points. This is a one-time deal, just because it amused me.
Worth it.
But yeah, at that point, Caroline walks in. She walks in, and towards Freddie, she just looks down and just goes, huh, and walks past of Carl and just says, so, are these the weapons that you're leaving us? And points to a bunch of like pistol-y or like bullet-powered guns that have been put to one side.
Yes, those are the ones we are leaving, he says, ignoring her glare.
I don't believe I was talking to you. I thought you were really something, walking in here with your fine clothes and all of that pizzazz and flair. You're just a money guy. And let me tell you about money guys in the wasteland, Freddie. They end up alone. And they end up dead. Because there's no one there to have their back. Remember that. Turns to Carl, full smile on her face. She's still lovely. It's okay, sugar. You're still in my good books.
That's good to hear.
She gathers up the guns that you are very kindly giving to the Quincy the former Quincy residents, I should say, and she leaves the room. And at that point, you hear shouting outside.
Well, she seems a little upset that I got the best of her. Now, what the hell is causing all this ruckus? They better be leaving. I ain't gonna save their asses again. And he heads towards the commotion.
Okay, as you head outside, you see that Augusta is walking in roughly towards the Caroline store end of town with a bloodied in the face James.
I just look and then wait as I see him coming towards me.
How's it going with Tumu?
We're about packed. They just came and took their weapons that I left for them. What did you hear?
I passed the message back. Edinburgh seems to be going okay. They can take the people that we need to offer them, I think. So if they want to go there, they can. Old Tom says it's all right.
All right. Is Caroline still within sight?
You can just see, I mean, you're about maybe 10 yards away from the store, so you can see that she's sat at the counter having a drink.
Oh, okay. I came around the back then. Okay.
Oh,
'Cause
did you
that's
want to
where I
go
was
around the
loading,
back
yeah.
of the store? Or...
No, that's where I was loading Tumo. Was just at the store, so I was.
Oh,
Okay, she's still in the.
It's not
Okay,
really
I
an area
walked
that
out
I
the-
massively mapped out, because it never
I'm
came
just
up,
trying
but
to
like...
get the visual where she is. I'll turn back around.
So
Caroline.
there's the store, and then there's the back room that is... You have to go through the store to get to the back room. So she's at the counter in the store at this point.
Yeah, I thought all the stuff was in the back room, and I was taking it back and forth to get Tumo loaded. So
Yeah.
okay. I wondering. Well, Caroline, honey, I think we will have a better deal for you. And he brings in a large crate. Sounds like you might be heading back home with us, and you're now one of us. And puts down a crate filled with food and some purified water. Make sure you take this and everybody uses it on your travel.
She looks at the crate, then looks at you. She is unsure what to do for a minute, but then just says... Oh, sorry.
Then he swirls a bottle. This is for you. It's kind of cheap stuff, but I don't think you're too worried about it.
She just says, "You're going to have to do a lot more to get back in my good book, sugar." But then she takes the bottle. But this might be a start.
Enjoy. Make sure everybody gets home safe then.
What is at your home? If you don't mind me asking.
Well, you find out. When you get there, look my sister up. She runs more or less our trading company now over there.
Maybe.
She'll help set you up.
Maybe I will. Maybe I will.
You have yourself a good day, Caroline, and thank you for the literature. I think that's the big fancy word the teacher was using for books.
There's an awkward moment of silence in the air.
Freddie just turns and goes back out. What's the problem, Augusta?
Predictable. Scylla's pissed off at James. Of course she is, because, well, that thing happened yesterday. We need to get him back to the gunners, though, so he can report in.
James, how do you get hold of the gunners? Well, we need to get there. Can you take us, or at least me, there?
I go to a specific spot a little outside of town. I light a fire. And usually within about 10 minutes, someone comes.
Is it over by the Red Rocket?
And it's a little bit further along.
Let's see.
It's about another 5
be
minutes away
good.
from the Red Rocket.
We've got some business up there as well.
Yeah. Well, if you want to go handle that, I'll take James and we'll go get Jim and Gut Guzzler.
Sounds good to me.
Alright, let's go put the spotlight on Carl there for a minute. So, Carl, did you leave the store with Freddie, or did you stay in the back room sorting out supplies?
Oh, I stayed to help sort out the supplies and make sure that we have what we need. And don't forget anything important that you need to survive in the wasteland, like food and water.
Okay. So, the general vibe is silence, and then you hear just outside General Isaac say, "Caroline?" And Caroline say, "General?" And then the general walks into the room and says, "So you're a funny one."
How so?
Because I think I got a good read on you. You're a hunter, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
I'm guessing when it comes to earning caps, you hunt whatever you're told to hunt.
That is a fair assessment.
But then I've met many people like that before. I've met hunters, whether they're bounty hunters or slave hunters, all the different kinds of hunters, I think, at this point. Never seen any, maybe meet a settlement and take their problems as their own. I've never seen that before.
That's largely how I've been hunting. I come to settlements, see what they need hunting. Usually it's wildlife problems, like bloat flies or a gecko infestation or something like that, tearing up the crops or livestock, and I take care of it. But I do occasionally hunt other things too.
Okay. I want to ask you something. And
Sure.
I think I need to preface this with a bit of context. My unit, my outfit, the Minutemen, there used to be hundreds of us. Not even that long ago. Our previous general, General Garvey, he was a good man, but he spread us way too thin. For over 20 years, he wanted to help every single settlement, every single person who asked, and we just didn't have the capacity. We tried to tell him, but he wouldn't say anything other than go and protect this settlement or go and help this settlement. So over 20 years, while he was in charge, our numbers were reduced to nothing. When he died, there was about 12 of us. And that's when I became general. We still did good stuff, whenever we could. My finest moment, I led the last dozen of the Minutemen in the raid to free a bunch of slaves from the Commonwealth's most pesky and annoying slaver. And we saved over 300 people that day.
Really?
But as such, that particular slaver has been hunting us down. We joined up with the Quincy people to try and help them, but also because they were heading south. And that is, I want to tell you that so you have all the information before you answer my next question.
Uh-huh.
I am the last Minuteman. And I want to build it up. I want to build it back up again. Will you join me?
An interesting idea. I will consider it, but I am otherwise engaged currently.
Oh, yeah. I think it's pretty safe to say, Carl, that your friends, they left a safe place to go back into the shit looking for a thing in a vault. They wouldn't do that unless it was of vital importance. So I wasn't ever going to ask you to deviate from that as a goal. But I think along the way, you and me, we could start building up the Minutemen again. We could really be a force for good in the wastes. And maybe we can take out that fucking rust chain.
Yes. I think we can do that.
Well,
After
if you want, you can have a think about it and stuff. Just let me know before, if everyone starts leaving so I know which direction I'm going in.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Alright? And when she turns to leave, but then before she does, she stops and just says over her shoulder, would it influence your decision if I told you that you get a really cool hat?
It would not, but that's good to know.
Bridges, may you rest in peace. That was all you needed to hear to sign up. Thought I'd try my luck again. At that point, she walks out. So, during all of this, Jade and Olivia Barstow, the overseer of Vault 88, returned to Vault 88 to seek out some information. And it didn't take them that long. They were basically down in the vault for about 20 minutes. And then when they emerge, it times just right with everyone sort of convening in the center of Quincy at this point. So there's Augusta, there's Carl, there's Freddie, there's James, who is there, bleeding and occasionally crying. And now Jade is there with Olivia Barstow.
Well, Olivia, did you find anything out? You know where there's another one?
Yeah, I went through all the documents that I'd collected, and I know that the fabricator parts came from a factory. Oh, the name of it. I need the name of it. Crap. Whoops. I'm jumping all over the place. Yeah, that's the one. And the parts came from a General Atomics factory to the southwest of Boston. I have the address, but I guess you lot don't do addresses anymore. Looking around at Quincy, at all of the destroyed buildings, everything.
Well, if you can get us close, I think we can figure it out.
I can
But
get
we
you
got
there.
other things. Oh, cool. I guess you're coming along then. He looks at Augusta just to be sure.
He just looks back fairly blankly.
Yeah, so Olivia Barstow just says, like, yeah, the thing is, when in the last months before the bombs fell, Vault-Tec was blowing money everywhere. To the point where they had to use, they had to hire out private contractors to make a lot of their stuff to get the vaults built in time. Like, I was thinking that there would be some kind of, this would come from a Vault-Tec factory near Washington, D.C. But looks like this was delivered straight from here. So that's convenient, at least. Assuming it's still standing and wasn't blown up in the war.
No, there still might be survival parts there or something if nobody else has scavenged it too much. But he nudges or looks over at Jim. We got to take care of, nudges James. We got to go get Jim. You ready, James?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm ready.
Well, you guys gonna come along, or you gonna stay and help take care of things?
I'm going, definitely.
Oh yeah, we can stop by the Red Rocket and we can grab the nanny. Anything else that we might get there? Jade, are you coming along? Okay. Yeah, you may need your doctoring if they've been in the gunner's hands for a while.
Carl, are you joining the group on this little sojourn to retrieve stupid Jim and Gut Guzzler? Oh, you're muted.
Yes, absolutely.
Wonderful. I mean, this group of players very, very good at muting when they're not speaking. That is a thing. Thank you. That makes things a lot easier on my end. But yes, so you four, Olivia Barstow, who is now officially a companion of Jade's. Companions in Fallout work very similarly to how they work in the video game, for obvious reasons.
Well, they just get in the way every time you try and walk through a door.
Oh, that's one part where the companions are much better in this particular version of Fallout. I'm going to share Olivia's character sheet with you, Catherine, there's not really much to micromanage or anything. How companions work is that they essentially have like infinite bullets, but they could never critical or like anything like that. So you never have to manage their bullets, but they are severely limited on what they can use. They have far fewer skills that they can actually use than regular players. So essentially, I quite like that they've balanced it so there's a lot less micromanagement, but then they are severely limited in what they can do. So let me share that with you.
Yep.
Oh, not my password manager. That's not what I'm going for.
Yeah, share your passwords. Yeah.
So you should see Overseer Barstow's character sheet in your journal, right next to yours.
That must be here. Yay.
So yeah, if you ever want to upgrade what she has on her, let me know. I can easily make the changes. But yeah, it's a much simpler pared down version of the character sheet that you're familiar with. It's just the one side of paper, essentially.
I only see the token.
You'll have to give access to editing or looking.
I've added it to your journal. Oh, we can figure that out later.
You have to give permissions inside the actual sheet.
Oh, okay. Can be edited and controlled by... There we go. Right, now you should be able to see the whole thing and edit the sheet. Like, you will have to keep up with her hit points, but that's basically it, essentially. But yeah, you have a companion. So...
Yay.
You all walk off roughly in the direction with James slightly ahead. And you're walking off roughly in the direction of the Red Rocket. He's explained to you that the place you are, that he usually arranges meets with the gunners, is kind of behind, or 5 minutes behind the Red Rocket. So a little beyond the map that you should be able to see now. Like there's the Red Rocket in the top right. It's basically a little bit off the map is where you're going. So you approach the Red Rocket, roughly. Would you like to stop there or would you like to keep going?
How
do you want to do things, Freddie?
Oh,
How do you want to do things? Sorry.
I can open the door.
You open the door. Open the door.
Exactly.
It's the delay. We keep... Yeah.
He will open the door. I can't remember what skill that is off the top of my head, but let's see. I believe he has...
A lockpick.
The thing when you don't open stuff often enough. There we go.
Well, I was going to say the difficulty is going to be... Oh, I'm muted.
And survival, I think, and perception.
This was an agility lockpick test. It was a 4 originally, but you've already locked and unlocked this door before, so I knocked it down to 2. With your lockpick set, that reduces down to 1. So you need 1 success to open this again.
And
I have
that's
full
survival
confidence in
perception. I'm trying to remember.
It's agility because you got to be quite fiddly with the little pins and stuff. Like this would be in D&D terms, it would be a sleight of hand.
Attribute, agility, skill, lockpick. There we go.
Oh yeah, easily.
Ooh, only needed 1 success and got 1 success.
Yeah, you nailed it. So you successfully unlock and open the door, and the Little Miss Nanny is lying exactly where you left it.
Taking the power core from my pocket or whatever I'm carrying things in, I'll replace it in the Ms. Nanny and try activating again.
Alright, you insert the fusion core, and then you flip the switch on the back, and the Little Miss Nanny thruster boosts, and it immediately goes bolt upright and is hovering about half a foot off the floor, and just says, "Input child name."
Wish me luck. Augusta.
What age is child?
25.
Processing.
Freddie and I exchange looks. I have no idea how fucking old I am, okay?
Eventually, a feminine voice comes out and says, "Hello, sugar darling.
Hello, Miss Nanny.
Now, usually, your age is a little bit higher than I'm usually expecting, so I've been activated with adult-child protocols. Would you like those explained to
no.
you?"
I'd like them deactivated, I think. We don't need adult-child protocols just now, thank you.
Well, if you're sure, I mean, that's okay. I can do that. Fine.
What we need right now is for you to be able to move under your own power.
Let me just check the status of the fusion core. Fusion core is currently at 78%. I estimate that my batteries will run for at least 87 years, 3 months, 2 days, 4 hours and 28 seconds.
Then we mustn't waste any more seconds. We have to get moving. Please come with us. You're very welcome.
Alright, honey, let's go. And at this point, congratulations, Augusta has gained a companion. A nanny robot. I will now share that sheet with you.
We didn't talk about this. This was a bit of a risk.
Edit in.
I'm just going to wait
Augusta's
for it to try to
journal.
change diapers and burper. That's all.
Can be edited by Augusta. Let me just double check everything's fine. Oh, yeah. So you've leveled up a whole bunch since I made this one. I'm just going to quickly do...
Got it. I can see her.
1, 2, 3. Just doing a very quick battlefield level up.
Assuming that we don't need to use it immediately, that might be okay to leave it until after if you want.
This is a robot that is mostly under your control to a point. There are programs that you probably
Mostly.
Well, you're the child. She's a nanny.
I know,
so,
I know.
You know, there's
I'm
going
not-
to be some limitations that come up in play, but essentially, if you ask her to do something, she's probably going to do it. So she's like entirely under your command at this point.
Yep, that was what I was hoping for, to be honest.
I want to go out and play. No, you don't.
So the robot just says, like, "So, what are we doing today, little Augusta?"
We are going to go and find our friends.
Our friends are always important. It's always important to
definitely
cultivate
are.
good friendships. Let's go find your friends and hopefully we can maybe play with them.
Friday, I don't think we need to lock this door now, do we?
Is there anything else in the room?
No, you basically cleared it. The most of the stuff that was there with any use was the meds. Everything else is either molded or fallen apart or mostly just trash and junk.
Yeah, we might as well just leave it open. And that way they, you know.
Let the gunners
they'll
have their
know
fill.
it's- Yeah, nothing here. Well, shall we then?
I think we shall.
James, lead the way.
James like looks at the robot for a second and is just like, "This is a really strange day, everyone."
Yeah, it's... Get used to it. We move.
Alright. So you progress down the road another 5 minutes, and then James says, "Alright, we're here." And you see that there's like a little like fire pit that he's made. And he just says, "Right, well, let me just light this." And he pulls out a lighter, lights the fire. And then you wait. 2 minutes go by. 4 minutes go by. About 10 minutes after you set the fire, you see red dots line up on everyone's forehead. And Sergeant Bauer emerges from over a hill, or mound, I should say, and just says, "So what is this? Why are you all here?"
Well, we're just letting you know that we've had discussions with the town they will be leaving later today. So we came to retrieve Jim and Gut Guzzler.
She turns her head to Carl and just says, "You destroyed the weapons?"
Muted.
Carl's just taking a bite of something as well, I think.
We'll be taking those weapons with us. Either way, they won't be bothering you.
She turns to James.
And they weren't the town's weapons to begin with. They were mine. And Freddie looks up.
What do you mean they were...
I made the arrangements so that they were my weapons earlier. Anything we scavenged from that vault was mine.
I feel like the important thing is when you march into
The
this town
weapons.
tomorrow, there won't be resistance.
There won't be anybody there.
She turns to James. "This all true, James?" He just says, "Yes." She looks up and down and just says, "I guess that a lot of people found out about what he was doing."
Yep.
Okay. Well, first I want to thank you. I know what you must think of me.
I think you're actually pretty smart and honorable trying to not kill people if not needed. But I don't like who your boss is necessarily. You, I can respect.
You make choices in this life. They lead you down some paths that you can't necessarily get off. Let's just leave it at that. Alright. I need you... So I made a deal. I need to know what part it is that you're looking for, so my employers can make it.
Augusta, this would be more... It's about... He's trying to just... Augusta.
It's a S42U board for a fabricator.
Just pulls out a notebook and writes down. Do you know who made...
S742U.
S742U. Do you know who made it?
Oh, the people that weren't Voltec. The other one.
Olivia pipes up. General Atomics produced it.
Yeah, that's the ones.
Voltec designed it. She writes, General Atomics producers, Voltec designed. Alright. I will send this on to my employers. You're going to need these. And she presents to the group a fabric patch of the Gunner logo. I should have just shared with you now. And she shares with you a piece of paper that is as new and fresh as paper gets in the wasteland. And it simply says... Beetroot Wardrobe Alpha 53863. On the authority of Sergeant Eliza Bauer, serial number 8524P, pickup. At the bottom is her signature and a stamp of the Gunners logo, which also features Bauer's serial number along the bottom. You'll be heading to Fort Zero Dark. I know that is a dumb name. I know. But it was named by a fucking 20-year-old guy. Like, what do we... Like, he was going to name it something dumb. But, you know, here's the coordinates.
That's where we can pick this up?
Yeah, they should have it ready in a few days. 3 or 4 days. You need to show the patch and the note, otherwise you will be shot.
Understood.
Like if you're approaching, you need to approach no guns, no weapons in your hands at all, holding up these 2 things. Otherwise, they will kill you all.
Thank you for explaining that. That was nice to know. Appreciated.
And before you start thinking that you can use this to get into any other gunner camps or whatever, it's not going to work.
I figured that's what your codes and stuff were in there.
Why on earth would we want to get into other gunner camps?
I don't know. People try to come in all the time and massacre people and take all of our stuff. It's a thing.
Y'all are famous for one thing. Never mind. Not important right now.
I know what we're
By the
famous
way-
for. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that's the way it is. But I seriously.
Understood, Commander. Now, I have our friends.
We will release them and send them in the direction of Quincy, and you should have them within the hour.
And now I got one last request. What of this? And he points to James.
What do you mean of this?
They don't want him. He's one of yours.
James just says, I'm not one of theirs.
Freddie, Scylla, although angry with him, might want him back.
Sergeant Bauer just turns to him and says, to James and says, I wouldn't want this pathetic nothing of a person even in the gunners. And we'll take literally anyone.
That's fine, he's coming back with us then.
Freddie has drawn his laser pistol and put it to the back of James's head at this point and looks at Augusta. He's
Freddie,
not coming
sure
back
about
to
this.
our community. He's already betrayed one and pulls the trigger.
Oh shit. Okay. Unexpected slight combat thing. Let me just get James's character sheet up.
Carl's gonna go over to Freddie and the now dead betrayer and say, Freddie, for future reference, a knife does not use up valuable ammo.
Oh shit. Okay, this is really going on. Okay, have you made an attack roll? This is a close.
I think that would count as a sneak attack since it's not open combat, and also you put a gun directly to his head, so it's an automatic hit in that case.
Yeah, that was for sure. It's about the damage now. Like, what's the damage stuff with the sneak attack thing? I believe it's an extra dice.
And can Freddie use one of the dice? He's asking because he knows this is a risky and not asked thing.
Sorry, what was that?
I was just going to see about using an action point. I didn't want to take it without asking.
I just need to look up the
Because I did weak damage.
So your attack is vicious because it is a surprise attack at close range, which means when I can find it on my sheet, because I have all of these, if you want to learn what surprise combat taking me off guard looks like, you found it. Vicious, there it is. You deal 1 DC, 1 extra damage for every effect rolled. So you have rolled 3 damage.
May I use additional dice? I'm asking the group since...
If it means the fight's over more quickly.
Oh yeah, he's dead. James, the front of James's skull flies off, slightly singed
Oh,
and
this
burning.
is a laser. I'm looking at it like a hole burns right through.
Oh yeah, like it's on fire as it fires out of the front of his head, and he collapses on the ground. Big steaming hole through his face. Sergeant Bauer is taken aback, and all of the red dots are now on Freddie. What the fuck? Dude!
Freddie holsters his gun, hands up. He betrayed his community. I wasn't going to let him get away with it. And the fact that he tried to destroy my stuff. And since you weren't keeping him, I was taking care of the garbage.
Sergeant Bauer looks at Freddie for a second and says, like, you... Who are you? You know what?
Just protecting things.
Fuck this shit. Boys, we're moving on. You know the drill. Stay here for 5 minutes before you leave. We'll know if you don't. If you try to follow us. And she walks away, and over the next 60 seconds, the red dots, one by one, disappear off Freddie's forehead.
And Freddie sighs, oh my God, I thought they were going to shoot me. But I wasn't going to let him go back to our town.
You did the right thing, Freddie.
He was he was getting nowhere near Edinburgh.
Olivia just sides up to Jade and just says, is this how things are done now?
I think we can call this an exception for the rule.
Good to know. Always willing to learn. Thank you for keeping me in the loop on how this all is now. Thank you. So you're all standing...
I apologize for the surprise, but it was better to be quick and painless, just like pulling a Band-Aid off. Right, Jade? He's trying to convince himself.
You took a decision. You took a decision that none of the rest of us was able to take, I think. But it was necessary.
What do you want to tell Scylla?
They shot him. Or don't tell her a thing.
We'll see.
I'll talk to her if it comes to that.
Okay, I can leave that with you.
Holy shit. Okay, so you're now standing like in this fairly desolate area. James's body is at your feet. The fire has been extinguished. What would you like to do?
I'll check his pockets.
All right.
He has a lighter, we know that.
He does. So, when you search him, you find on his person he's wearing a set of road leathers. He has a lead pipe. And he has a wealth 1, which means I have to roll 1 dice, and that's how many caps he has on him.
One other thing Freddie kind of was looking at when he was executing was, I don't know if there would be any indication that he would not be human, such as he was one of the synths or something, had been replaced, having heard the stories.
I mean, to properly assess him, that would be some kind of medicine intelligence check.
If only we had some... Jade!
Yep.
So, the DC...
Freddie will mention...
The difficulty for this
that.
would be 3.
Carl will assist. I have medicine 1.
And you may have your doctors, if you have your lab coat or something, that also gives a little bonus, so make sure to keep an eye on that, some of your gear.
I still don't remember what the fuck that lab coat does.
Okay, the lab coat. Is that one of the things that I had to yeah.
I don't have the book open.
I have the book. I'm just going through the book now.
I just know it gives something to intelligence checks and things like that. We can re-roll, I think, 1 dice.
The lab coat allows you to re-roll a single d20 on 1 intelligence-based skill test you make each scene.
Yep, this is an intelligence.
Yep. Yeah, and let's see here. All the rest is, let's see, trying to treat. Yeah. Let's just go with this.
You get to re-roll 1 dice because of your lab coat, so if you want to roll another d20, 12 and under is what you're going for. That is...
So that's 4
Another
successes.
crit.
Yeah, you can bank those extra 2 action points. And...
You said 3, didn't you?
You are currently on 4 because you got a bonus because of Vincent's excellent prop game. So you're now up to 6 action points. So yeah, you bend down, and this check is made a lot easier than if you were trying to do it on a living person, because he's got a big old hole in his head. So you dip your fingers inside his head, you feel around, and you are 99.9% sure that the person was indeed a human being, born and bred the classic human way.
I mean, that's better than some of the party.
Yeah,
Well,
wonder if the leader was, because she said something about serial number.
it's written on the note that she gave us.
I think that's a soldier thing. It's not a synth thing.
There was no barcode on the back of the neck. We're good. So. Well, we now at least have another way of, as he holds up the badge and paper, of getting another board. But that seems might be selling our souls, per se, to be in connection with that group.
Yeah, but if it gets it done in 2 days rather than spending another 2 weeks wandering around looking for a robot that was going away at about 50 miles an hour.
You want to walk? I mean, I'm willing to negotiate in this, but that's we're walking into like the spider's lair, per se.
No, I understand. We have options. We have time to consider them. We should probably bury this body though, or there's going to be something will get him.
Yeah.
Freddie ignores that comment, and he doesn't want to dig a hole.
He did what he thought was...
Just leave the body for the scavengers.
No, I will not do that.
Well, if anything, we can take it back, and I'll lie. Or I would
No,
say
I
just
think
leave it here.
bury him here a little bit. Just unburied bodies have a way of getting found.
I got an idea. Throws him on the back of Tumu, or asks help to get him on the back of Tumu. He's not very strong. And as they pass by the red rocket, he will lock him in the room.
Okay.
What's the normal procedure with dead people in the wasteland?
Well, if somebody was to die in a settlement, they would be buried. If somebody dies in the wasteland, that body is just lying there until it gets eaten or withers away in some other way. So
I don't know. They're leaving him in a locked room. Imagine how puzzled someone would be if they broke into that room and then found a bunch of bodies lying around and no sort of plot clues.
they are currently still, and starting to rot, a series of raider bodies lined all the way around the red rocket at this point. Like, the red rocket fucking stinks, to be honest, at this point.
And there's probably a few swollen and bursted guts and things like that laying around, so...
It's not pretty. It's not pretty.
I was trying not to look at that.
She's looking up and... I don't see it. That's what's Freddie's plan, is he'll lock the body in there.
Okay,
Better than leaving him outside, at least.
And try not to say anything to her at all if you can avoid it. And if you do, just say the gunners took him.
This is your thing. However you want to play it.
I mean, you guys do agree he couldn't come back to Edinburgh.
I do agree.
You're right. I don't like it, but you're right.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
At the same time, he just tried to do what he thought was best too. They might have had something on him too. They might have threatened.
Even if he would have followed if we let him live. I'm afraid he would have followed even if we lived.
I hear what you say, and what you did was right, but there's no reason to make it worse after he's dead.
If we can avoid even talking about...
Let's get back to the town, and hopefully Jim and Gut Guzzler will turn up. We have other stuff to do right now, and we can get blind drunk about this guy later if that's what you really want to do.
Okay, so you make your way to the red rocket. I'm not going to bother with any rolls because at this point you have become very familiar with this particular lock and door. You dump James's body into the stock room of the red rocket, and you lock the door behind you, and you make your way back into town. As you do, people are buzzing around, packing up various carts. A few other Brahmin have appeared seemingly out of nowhere. That many people on the sides of the street are just loading their worldly possessions onto. And Jordan, no, that's the guy's name. Roman is in the middle of it. He's sort of organising people. He's been talking to General Isaacs, explaining what the plan is. And as you return, General Isaacs approaches in the middle of all of this hubbub and just says, "Where's James? Where's Gut Guzzler? Where's stupid Jim? Are you alright? What happened?"
Jim and Gut Guzzler should be here shortly.
Alright, but okay, what about James? We still have to figure out what the fuck we're going to do with him.
The gunners kept him.
The gunners kept him. Well, I guess that makes sense. Maybe he was with them a lot longer than we think. Yeah, there was no need for the roll, Tim. Tim just rolled and got 3 successes. And I was just thinking that, like, yeah, she'd probably believe them at this point. But you know what? She definitely does now. So she just says, "Fair enough. I'm not sure how Silla's going to take that, but it is what it is."
I hope you'd let Silla know, and we're going to finish doing what we need to do. Did we
Yeah,
need to visit the power plant yet? Looking over at the rest of the group?
I wanted to have a quick word with Carl quietly, somewhere away from people, about the power plant.
That's fine.
I can't hear you, Carl. I'm sorry.
He's whispering really quietly to you.
I'm really good at muting, it seems. Yes,
It's great.
Carl
It's a
would
great
like
skill.
to come with the nice science lady.
Oh, this is not nice science. So safely away from people. Carl, we had a little conversation yesterday about the power station. What do you want? What do you think we should do? Because they're obviously going to take it. They want that power station.
Yeah, they do. Now, I don't think they're going to stop with just that. Whatever they want it for, obviously they're doing something that requires a lot of power. I don't think it's a good idea for them to have that much electricity available to them. I also think that I thought before we got rid of the trader that doing anything to sabotage the plant might come back to bite us in the butt. But with him dead, there's no telling who set that up, or even that it was set up to explode or fail or in some manner. So I think it might be a decent idea to booby trap it and deny them the prize. And then there's a big old radiation zone around here that will be between them and your Edinburgh.
I had one idea, but it involves giving up one of the nukes.
Okay. What do you have in mind?
We set it on a tripwire or attach it to the door, and make sure that nobody goes back after it's set who is on our side.
That could work. Yeah.
That would take out the power station and most likely the majority of the town, and probably the majority of the gunners, but I don't know how comfortable I feel about that. If there was a way we could just stop them accessing the power station without killing everyone. But you're right, they may not stop coming. This is why I wanted to talk.
The gunners they're mercenaries. I met lots of mercenaries over the years. They're essentially a tool. It's their employer that concerns me. And the gunners are just gunners. There's going to be mercenaries at all times. These are just more organized. It's the Institute getting this power station that concerns me.
It'll fuck things up for the vault. That vault will be unusable because no one will be able to open the door.
It seemed pretty usable as it was with all the radiation inside anyways.
Very fair.
And I think we got everything useful out of there, so yeah, I think it would be a sensible idea to blow the plant, irradiate this area, and that way we know that anyone that comes through here on the way to Edinburgh is probably not a normal human.
Then my last question, and possibly one of the reasons we're doing this quietly and out of the way, do we tell the others that we're going to do this?
I don't think we should. I'm sure Freddie would be okay with this. I am concerned about Jade and her conscience getting in the way. She seems to be a very nice person, which is not a fault, but can be a little impractical in the wasteland sometimes.
He's a good guy. Just their experience has been very different, I'd imagine, and taking a much longer term view. But I agree generally. But I think, yeah, if one of us can be the last one out of that particular part of the town, I think we know what has to be done.
Yeah, I can be last out. I'll say it's to cover up any tracks as we are leaving, which I would want to do anyways.
And do you know what to do with the device?
I think so. It seems pretty easy.
They're designed to
Yeah,
just be fired and then impact and explode when they impact. So
yeah.
I'd imagine
It
just replacing the front with something that will drop when the door is opened. It can be just a mechanical thing. You're a clever
that
guy.
should be sufficient. Weapons, in my experience, have been very easy to use. They don't require a lot of a thought on the or skill on the behalf of the operator, aside from aiming. So, and these things were essentially shot with slingshots. So, yeah, we should be good.
Okay, then we move. Carry on.
All right.
All
So
right.
whilst you two are having that chat away from people, General Isaacs has walked off to go and inform Scylla of the weird news. And at that point, Mikey J walks up to Freddie and just says, if you need reminding, Mikey J is the person that tried to punch you not that long ago.
All right.
He just walks up to you and says, hey, I come in peace. I come in peace.
How may I help?
I don't think you need me to tell you how people are in town are very grateful that your group are providing us with a safe place to go. But also, they really fucking hate you, Freddie.
I can live with that.
And that's why I like you.
What?
You knew what was right. You knew what needed to happen. And you said it. You made this happen. We had to leave. We were all going to die. So whilst you may...
I just gave you the information. You guys decided on your own. I wasn't staying. That's for damn sure. Mixing accents. This is Bob.
I'm starting to mix up accents too. Like I had a whole accent worked out for the Little Miss Nanny, then suddenly I found myself becoming Caroline again. It's mixing up. It's a new thing. But yeah,
Maybe Caroline had a Miss Nanny as a child.
maybe so. So Mikey J just says like, I think I got you all wrong, man. I get you. You're about the business. You're about getting things done. I don't know what
I'm worrying more about profit and protecting my family. You're now part of that.
That's good to hear because I have a proposal. I am an expert on produce. I started off as a farmer. My family's farm. Way up north. Way up north.
North of Boston?
North of the capital wasteland.
What the hell are you doing this far south?
Well, you know, over time.
I know, things. I get it. But just impressed. Most people don't live who travel from that far.
Well, I've made my skills with farming my biggest asset. I have always been able to negotiate good deals with traders. I've always been able to identify good crops, bad crops, good meat, bad meat. And that has kept me alive because most people, the first thing they learn about is guns and self-defense in this world. I learned how to grow stuff in almost anything. And I know I'm going to be an asset to your settlement, whatever that is. But I think I would be a bigger asset to you. Let me come with you. Let me help my new home by helping their chief trader and getting the best deals.
I have no problem with that. But you said you don't have anything to defend yourself. Are you able to use guns or something?
He looks down. Not as yet, but I can imagine that there's people in your group who could teach me.
Good thing you didn't. I mean, I understand where you're saying, but you got to learn to defend yourself in this wasteland.
Well,
Even a
there's
little
some...
guy like me has to be able to. Can't shoot dang Gus lead slinger for shit. But you give me one of these things, and he pats his laser gun. I can hit a rad scorpion from 100 yards.
Well, he reaches behind him,
Just gotta...
and he pulls out a metal device that when he folds it out, it becomes a spade. And he says, I got pretty good with this. Hitting the earth. Do you imagine hitting whatever beast we run into is going to be much different?
No, that'll come in handy, but first thing is you shouldn't get so close that they can hit you. And Freddie starts chatting with them about stuff, but...
And you, as you chat, you go over the various defense skills. You talk about various experiences in the wasteland. And Freddie, you have gained a companion.
Oh, right, a mule. I mean, a companion.
Let me just double check the sheet. Yeah, okay. I need to add a thing to a sheet, but it's basically done. So yeah, let me share that with you now. You now have Mikey J as a companion, a man of various skills that may or may not prove useful.
First thing I teach him or show him is how to milk a Brahmin.
So he looks at you with a bit of disgust, just says, I know how to milk a fucking Brahmin. Like...
Then he hands him a bucket. Go for it. I haven't had to do it yet this morning.
All right. He sits down.
And you can have a big drink, too, when you're done. Might be a little warm, but...
He sits down and he milks the Brahmin. Give me a perception survival check.
Where's my character sheet?
And I'm not going to give you a difficulty for this one, because this could vary.
Sheet. What was it? Survival perception?
Yes.
Or in this game, perception survival in the roller.
Okay. That's 3 successes. You notice that Mikey J is doing a very good job. He knows how to milk a Brahmin. However, from the way he's doing it, if you had to guess, it looks like the way someone would do it if they had read a lot of books about how to milk an animal, but having never done it before.
First thing I look is Tumu being irritated.
Tumu's just chewing on some random crap with one head, and the other head is sort of cleaning her leg, licking her leg clean a bit, and just like...
Okay. As long as the Tumu's not agitated, he'll let it continue.
Yeah.
He has to get experience somehow.
So yeah, after a while he picks up the bucket and just says, There, I milked your fucking Brahmin.
Yeah, it looks like it was your first time. Read it in the book?
He looks confused, like he's like, no, I grew up on a farm with Brahmin.
Oh. Here, go ahead and share it with the rest of the people. They can have something to drink this morning.
Thank you. This may help with your image problem. I'll let folks know that I'm going with you instead.
I don't care about the image, just about the caps and the community.
All right. He walks away.
Maybe not in that order.
So the special thing that Mikey J can do is he has a ability called Produce Prodigy. If you are negotiating over acquiring any kind of produce from the earth or from animals, he is essentially going to give you assistance in that in the form of an extra dice, which I didn't write on the description. Game 1. Oh, well, I'll write it in later, but basically that's what Produce Prodigy does. It's a very specific skill. May come up, maybe it won't. I don't know. That all depends on what you lot do. But there it is. That is what he's about. He comes armed with a handy rock and a fold-out spade. that he could hit people with. He has no training really in anything. He's got 1 rank in small guns, and that's it. As in, he has used a gun at some point. So yeah, that's your new apprentice, I guess.
All right. How do we teach him big guns so we can make him use those fat boys?
You can do that at
Other
level
each
up.
hand.
When you level up,
I
he
know.
will also level up. He'll also get a skill rank and not a perk. He'll get a skill rank, basically, and
Yeah.
1 HP every level. That's how the thing works. But yeah.
The way to teach him would be to show him, and I don't want to be using those.
Okay.
I noticed one is missing.
So let me just go through all of my notes because this has been up and down. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to say you lot have total free reign over Quincy. It's now about 11 in the morning. I know you all slept in a bit, but you're used to getting up at like 6 a.m. or when the sun comes up because you've been camping outside. So when you got up, you did have a sleep in. You spent a couple of hours milling about doing little things. So now it's fairly early in the day. And if there's any business you want to do in Quincy, you have as long as you want to do it, essentially.
Other than scavenging, possibly, which we can do off camera, so we don't have to sit here and roll dice for all day. But yeah, Freddie has no other things he would do other than waiting for everybody else to be ready.
Okay, so Freddie is going to do a scavenge of the Quincy area, is that right?
Yeah, he's going to walk around with his new trainee, MJ, and take a walk and teach him where to... People like to hide things here and scavenge there in these old places, you know.
All right,
blah, blah, blah.
We'll do that like you said on the Discord and update all of what you find next time. But I can say now, you're not going to find a lot because...
Oh, he doesn't expect to. He's just... But he, you know, people evacuating quickly always leave little trinkets.
Yeah.
So...
As long as your expectations are in the right way. Carl, is there anything you'd like to do in Quincy? In the Quincy area?
Well, yes. While Augusta keeps everyone else in the team occupied, I'm going to get one of those mini nukes and set it up, or take it towards the power plant and set it up, and otherwise explain if anyone asks why I'm not there. She can just tell them I'm making sure any tracks are covered so you're not followed.
Okay, so yeah, we can... Let me ask what the other players want to do first, and then I'll try and work out the best order to do it in. So, Jade, we're probably going to do a flashback of some stuff that you may want to do in town. I know that, but like on a future episode. But for now, is there anything that you want to do in Quincy before you leave?
I don't think so. I can't think of anything. We don't have time for the workbench and stuff like that anyway, so...
Oh, you do? If you wanted to go and use a workbench, you absolutely could. We should probably work out the specifics on the Discord during the week, because that would probably be very boring for anybody who's watching.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to do workbench stuff, I'll make a note of that and we can sort that out this week.
Okay, because I looked a bit at some of the chems. There might be some good ones if we have the materials for it.
So far, there isn't a chemistry workbench in the area. There is a weapons workbench you have found at the Red Rocket. There is a cooking station at Caroline's store. And there's a robot workbench at the power plant.
Okay.
There may or may not be other kinds of workbenches in other areas in Quincy you haven't been to. But that's a gamble.
Okay, yeah. Well, then... I don't think that's an... That... can Jade use helmet. I know that the armor have to be raiders like special. Is the raider helmets? Can Jade use a helmet?
You know what? I don't know.
Oh yeah, you got the because of your species, super mutant. You have the restrict. Okay.
It doesn't.
I think you can modify it as at like a workbench, armor bench, if you needed to. That's why you can use the raider armor as pieces to make ones for you, I believe, if I remember right.
Yeah, Raider armor is basically just loads of bits, so you don't even really need a weapons bench to make that ready to wear as a super mutant. Like, you can just grab like two bits of two different chest pieces and jam them together into something that will cover you. So like that's not a problem. The rulebook does not mention anything about hats, so I'm going to say super mutants, their heads are bigger, so they wouldn't be able to wear like a helmet that would go beneath their forehead, if you see what I mean. They could wear a hat. They could wear any like fabric clothing hat, but they wouldn't necessarily be able to wear like military helmets with specific specifications for a human head, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Or something like a motorcycle helmet or something like that.
Yeah, a motorcycle helmet would be an impossibility for most super mutants. However, you know through your travels that you have seen super mutants wear helmets that were designed for them. Like, they exist in the world.
Okay.
You wouldn't know how to make one because you don't have the armor perk, but you do have... So yeah, there we go. That's the hats situation for you.
Okay. Yep. Because then I can't come up with anything Jade would want to do, I think.
Okay. Augusta, is there any business in Quincy you want to do?
I can just see Augusta kind of going around helping people with whatever they're doing rather than doing anything specifically.
All right, you very quickly find a group of people who are trying to load up way too much stuff onto the poor suffering Brahmin, and you immediately run over to try and help with that situation. So we'll go to Carl. Carl, you're going to head over to the power plant now. Oh, you're muted again.
Right. Yes, I'm heading over to the power plants to set up a tripwire for dropping that nuke on whichever poor bastard goes in there first.
Okay, so when it comes to making traps, that's something I should have looked up the second that you joined the game, because I knew at some point you were probably going to do that, and I didn't look it up. Let me have a quick nosy.
This is when Carl dies, apparently. And wipes out Quincy.
You know?
And everybody around, TPK'd the whole party, and causes a nuclear meltdown, takes out half of Boston.
Oh, wait. There we go. Okay. So you approach the power plant, and as you go, you see Mary B and a few other residents of Quincy walking away, each with backpacks full of stuff. They see you, and Mary B just says, "So, yeah, how you doing? You alright?"
Oh, yeah, I'm fine. Gotta make sure that any tracks are wiped out so no one follows us when you're leaving.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Alright. Do you know where we're going?
Sorry, what?
Do you know where we're going?
Not exactly, but your town leaders have been informed.
Alright. I wonder what No, it doesn't matter. It's fine. Whatever. Yeah, We've shut down the plant.
Okay.
The town will have power for a few more hours as it winds down, but then after that, plant's going to be dead. At least that's what I think we've set it to.
Sounds good.
Well, no one told me what to do. No one told me I was fired, so I guess I was still in charge of making that decision.
I'm sure it will be fine. You just focus on getting your stuff packed up and ready to go.
Oh, we're done. We've cleared out.
Oh, good. Well, head over to Quincy, join the others, and get ready to go.
All right.
Take care.
She walks back in. She walks towards town.
All right. I'll continue to the plant.
Okay. You head inside the plant. You've been there before, so you know. So the inside, it's very much like it was. Ground level, it's full of different computers and large metal boxes covered in lights and sparks and things. And above, there's like various gangways that lead into like what look like kind of like porta cabins, sort of floating around the top. That's on another level. That would be where there are offices and stuff. What would you like to do?
I'm going to set up the mini nuke to at the control room.
Okay.
So we needing to go there to run the plant, so that makes sense. And it's going to be that as soon as someone opens the door to the control room, the nuke is going to drop right down onto them.
Okay, to find the control room, because at this point the only place you've seen inside of anyone where anyone has done anything has been a computer slap bang in the middle of the ground floor. That was the computer that Augusta used to turn power back on for the Vault 88. That is the computer that you've only ever seen Mary be at. You don't know where the control room is. So it takes you about 20 minutes of wandering around to find a door that says control room. The door has a few cobwebs on it and has not been opened in a very long time. Do you open it?
There's cobwebs on it.
Yeah.
What control room were we in last time?
That was in the main floor. So there was a main floor where there was just a whole bunch of different computers, and for whatever reason that you don't know, Mary B seemed to be controlling the plant from one computer in the center of the room, and no one appears to have gone inside this control room before.
Oh boy. I'm going to knock on that door first to listen if there's any kind of sound from inside.
You hear nothing.
Okay. I'll try opening it.
You open the door and it reveals along the whole of the wall there are various different monitors, all of them off, and in front of that there is like a row of sort of input stations which is covered in different buttons. Like this very much looks like a control room. If you want a reference point, if you've ever seen the miniseries, HBO miniseries Chernobyl, it looks kind of similar to what the control room there looks like. That's kind of the setup. But no one has been in here for a very, very long time. There is one monitor on in the bottom right of all of the monitor displays that just says routed to factory floor.
Okay. I'll set up the bomb here, and then on my way out, I will smash the screen on the router 2 computer, so they have to come in here.
Okay, so to do this, I looked it up. you need to pass a dexterity explosives check.
Wouldn't it be more along the lines of repair, since I'm just rigging up a mechanical thing to drop a prepared explosive rather than setting up creating an explosive?
When you explain that does make sense. The rulebook does state that if you are doing anything about setting traps with explosives, it requires the explosive skill. But the explosive, in this case, is a mini nuke.
Yeah.
That if it drops and it hits on its head, it will probably explode.
Exactly. It's not like dynamite or grenades or something like that I think they're referring to. Because this is the same as setting up a tripwire or a bear trap, essentially.
Yeah, that does make sense. I'm going to say that this is, in this situation, you are under no real pressure. You've not been chased by anyone. So, in this case, I'm going to say that this is going to be a difficulty... This is going to be a difficulty 4, and I'm making it that high because you need to make sure that this thing is not going to drop early. You need to make sure that the mechanism is right, and the consequences could be disastrous if this goes wrong.
Okay. How many...
If you have anything that knocks that down, which I believe you do...
let's have a look here.
Like this has to be a difficult roll. It's not the most difficult roll, but you are trying to set up a tripwire nuclear explosion. Like that's not an easy thing.
And remember, you safely have to handle a nuclear device you activate. Because if you don't activate it, putting it on the tripwire is just going to be a big metal object dropping on somebody.
If only this was something like Blades in the Dark, we could flashback where you borrowed my lab coat.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Okay, I'm gonna buy as many extra dice as I can.
Okay, how many extra dice are you buying?
We did have 100 bits, I can't remember.
Oh, then that adds... Thank you to whoever did that. That adds to your pool.
I know who it is, but I can't pronounce your username. I'm really sorry. Malizera? I'm going to try Malizera.
Okay, so at this point you have 6 action points, and you have 2 rerolls from the community. So 2 chances to reroll 1d20 if something goes wrong.
Okay, so I can buy 3 extra dice with that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Putting in 3 extra dice. Here goes. Okay, I'm gonna need one of those rerolls because that's just 3 successes. Do I reroll all of them or just the 2 that failed?
You have 1 reroll that lets you roll 1 dice. So you roll 1d20 to replace one of the ones you failed.
Okay. 1d20. That's a 12. And I need... Let's see here. It's...
10
or under is what you need.
Under.
All right, I'm gonna do the next reroll also then.
Ouch.
Well, you didn't roll any complications, so that's a good thing. This would have been very, very bad if you had rolled a complication. So,
yeah,
you try to make a trap. This is something you've done many, many times before. Not necessarily with explosives, especially not with a nuclear explosive, but you have basically made similar things before. However, you cannot get it right. You try and you try and you try, but the nuke is just too heavy. Like every time you do a little dangle test, it drops off. Like you can't get the balance right for someone to trip the wire and then have it drop. It might, if you leave it the way it is, it would drop at random at any point. And that is not something... That is not the outcome you wanted. So
it is not. It's really not. Okay.
I feel so bad. But also, you're trying to blow up a nuclear power plant with a nuclear weapon. I don't know how else this could have gone. Although, if you have
Yeah,
got some quick
that's
thinking on something else you could do, I'm willing to do whatever you want. Throw it at me. Let's see what we can make happen.
I'm really low on ideas here, especially since Carl does not have the skills to rig the reactor to blow on its own. Like, actually
Carl could
cause
come
a
and find
lockdown.
Augusta if you wanted to.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll go find Augusta.
Alright, so you sheepishly leave the room, close the door behind you, and make your way back into Quincy, where you see Augusta has now packed this Brahmin quite well, and the people around her are sort of thanking her for her input.
Hey, look, the main thing is it doesn't walk around in circles. Freddie showed me this before we left Edinburgh.
Okay. I come up in motion to Augusta to come with me.
I see Carl. Remember our earlier conversation and go, just leave quietly. Think, right, I'll get back to you. Need to go and speak to my friend.
Okay. Everything is pretty much set up, but I can't get the damn nuke to stay hanging securely while we make our escape. Can you come and help me take a look and see if you can figure it out?
Yeah, definitely. We
All
don't
right,
want
that's
any accidents with this project.
Nope.
Alright, so you both
We hurry back there.
hurry back. You're back in the room. Augusta, you can see in the bottom right corner there is a monitor that is just saying routed to factory floor.
And it's smashed? Or is it not smashed yet?
It's not smashed. Nothing's smashed in here.
Were you not doing it in here? Was there another space that you were setting things up in?
No, this is the place.
Oh,
This is
okay.
the actual control room.
Wow. I'm surprised we
somehow
didn't come up here, to be honest, but I guess everything was happening downstairs. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess we need to have a look at
If
this.
we can't get this to work, maybe you can rig the reactor to explode on its own.
Or
in, like,
if we just find a conventional
hours.
explosive, that would probably do the job and less dangerously immediately, although obviously the plant will blow up. Right. What do I need to do? I mean, I've got... Augusta has knowledge that I do not have.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
So
Augusta, you won't need a roll for this. It's pretty straightforward. You've already interacted with the system before. You can tell that the plant is not set at like full. The plant at best is set to another kind of setting where not all of the reactors are on and not all of the outputs are working or available.
Yeah, there's no point running it at full if you don't need it at full.
Yeah. Although in this case, you're probably you're thinking that basically Mary B locked into a situation where somebody, maybe pre-war, had rigged the power plant to be operated from as at a very limited capacity from one workstation, the workstation that you have previously used. So if you were going to try and blow the plant up or set it in a way that it would destroy itself at a certain point, your first call would have to be that computer station on the floor, on the main factory floor.
Well, we'll try that, and if that doesn't work, I'll have a go at the nuke, but we absolutely cannot walk back into town carrying the mini nuke, so we're going to have to leave that there whatever happens, and if the plant blows up by itself and takes that mini nuke with it, so be it. Because people are going to ask questions if we both walk up into town carrying the mini nuke.
yeah, it's an all or nothing situation.
It's an awkward size. Let's have a go at the computer.
Of course.
I just want to say, I could use the right terms for this now. I, a while ago, had a bit of a special interest situation going on with Chernobyl. So all I'm going to say is, I'm ready for this roleplay, motherfuckers. I'm ready. Let's
You made
do
me
this.
watch the series. I watched the series with you.
It's so good, right? But yeah, let's go. So you you go on the factory floor, and you sit down at the computer station, and there's no password or anything. There's only ever been one person using it. And after going around a few different submenus, you figure out that what has happened is that it is currently in shutdown mode, where over a number of hours, the reactor core is going to be cooled and cooled and endlessly cooled. Steam is going to be vented, and eventually the core will be put into sort of stasis mode, essentially. So the power station will be shut down and safe roughly in the next 8 to 10 hours. You have a number of different options available to you. The first one is turbines. The second one is rod control. The third one is, as I come up with this on the spot, the third option is emergency procedures. And the fourth option is admin.
And we've got a bunch of options. We could make the rods do something drastic, but then that's like a time limit rather than a do this when this happens. So we'll try admin briefly.
Okay. You log into admin, and it comes up with a list of different folders. There's one that's just linked reports, another one that says databases, another one that says activity monitor. Yeah.
No, it doesn't sound like what we're wanting. I'll find some other way of doing this thing so we can get the job done quicker.
Okay. So you go back and you've got turbines, rods. Yeah, turbines and rods are the ones that the options you can see that you could maybe play with.
The main problem I'm seeing is that we want this to happen when there's people in the power plant, and certainly people in the area. And if I just mess with this now, all it's going to do is make the nuclear power plant melt down now. And that's not what we want.
Is there a way to set it on a timer to do something in 8 hours?
Maybe say a day.
Yeah.
1 day. Is there a roll or something I could do?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking next. So, this is definitely a science thing. And this is definitely an intelligence thing. So, for you to work out... And you want to work out some kind of way to see if it's possible to configure some settings so that this would explode at a specific time.
Yeah, in about a day.
Okay. This is not usually your area, but you understand how this computer system works. It's not too dissimilar from the kind of things you were using in the vault all the time. So I would say this is a DC3 to work out.
And also in Edinburgh, it's like a scheduling system. It's not a... I mean, granted, it's working with generating electricity rather than whatever else we were doing, but...
Yeah, this is going to be a DC3.
I've got my lab coat, so that's a 2.
Down to 2 it is. Oh, damn. In fact, I believe that 2 is a... In fact, they both are, because you've got 4 successes from rolling 2 dice. Okay. Let's roleplay this out. So you flick around the different menus for a while, and for a while it starts to look like... Oh. There's no way you're going to be able to figure this out. This is all nonsense. You don't really understand things. And then... you realise that you could set the reactor to start back up again in roughly 24 hours. And then vent water from the cooling system so that when the system automatically tries to cool the rods,
There's nothing there.
there's nothing there to cool them, so the plant would then start to go into meltdown. Now you can start you realize that you can start the process for that in roughly 24 hours from now. However, how long that takes to actually melt down and cause an explosion could take maybe a few minutes, maybe a couple of hours.
Let's say 12 hours then. 12 hours should be enough. We'll all be away by then.
Okay. So at that point, it could be a few hours, it could be a few minutes when it explodes. But then you know that once it explodes, this is going to poison the area of Quincy for at least a generation. This is going to be a significant environmental event that could have unintended consequences. What those are, you don't entirely know.
I mean, it feels like the whole world's already been irradiated once.
I don't know. Talk with Carl.
Carl, I'm starting to have doubts. And you're muted. That's no help!
There. What's on your mind, Augusta?
Just, this is a very big thing to do to this country, this bit of land. I know that we don't want the Institute to get this, but we're sure this is what we want to do.
I think so. I always believed that the Institute was just stories, rumors, but rumors don't buy mercenaries. If half of what I've heard is true, then they are potentially a much bigger threat to this area and possibly the entire coastal area of the former United States than any nuclear meltdown could possibly be.
Okay, we do it.
Okay, with that
All right.
roll, you easily set the parameters, you set the settings to do exactly that. In roughly 12 hours, the power plant will activate, and you've leaked the coolant, so the rods will have no choice but to get hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter.
And then there's the mini nuke in the control room.
You're leaving the mini nuke in the control room.
We can't walk back with it.
All right, fair enough. So that's a good point also to draw this to a close. So you leave the power plant, having done what you've done. And you can't help but feel torn. You have almost certainly taken a chunk out of the Institute's proposed power. But what is this going to do to the Commonwealth? Find out next week on Tales of Myth and Mayhem's Fallout. It never fucking changes. And it really doesn't. Oh, that was fun for me. How was it for you guys? Was it alright?
Oh, very good.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Brilliant.
just wait-
I get to blow up a power plant.
I'm going to have a nap after this.
Well, if you like
You
watching...
get back to town. You get back to town, and Freddie's swearing somebody stole the one of his mini nukes, and he finds him. He's gonna shoot him. Stealing from Freddie's dangerous.
I will have a quiet word with Freddie.
Alright, so... I mean, thanks for watching, everyone. If you liked that as much as we did, you should check it out on all of the things. Go down to the thingy and look at the things.
Look at the Discord and the YouTube.
Yeah, do those things. All of those things. Click on the internet things. Players. Do you have anything to plug? Anything you want to tell people about?
Rivers of London on Tuesday.
Oh, Rivers of London this week, not Slay. Okay.
Yep. Slay's next week.
Vampires temporarily on hold while Lonnie prepares for her wedding. And
13.5 hours of it on YouTube if you want to catch up. It's a great time. All with accurate subtitles now.
Oh, excellent. But yeah, we will be returning to that in November. But other than that, I am hoping, and I'm doing it today, is putting up a post for cast members for Dragonbane, looking for them. So I've been saying it for about a week, but I haven't gotten my butt in gear to do it because everything comes up. But I'm doing it right after I start cooking supper. So, but yeah, I had an excellent time as always, Overseer. Looking forward to more turmoil.
Yeah, next, I mean, everyone's pretty much got their business concluded at this point, so next week, it's the open road. Whichever direction you choose. As usual, only got through about half of what I prepared. As usual. Which is good, because, you know, I got a good place to start with next week's preparations. But yeah, Kat, you usually want to plug some clicky-clacky things. Do you have any clicky-clacky things for us today?
Go to North Foundry if you need nice new clickety-clack. Math rocks.
Go to North Foundry for your clicky-clacks. And that's it for us. Thank you for watching. Thank you lot for playing. See you all next week. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.